This is it, finally, the Alfa Romeo Tonale versus the Dodge Hornet, the Italian Stallion versus American Muscle. Two side-by-side, same SUVs, but they're different. Characteristics, the styling, they're both built on the same platform in the same plant, but this one was introduced first, but this one came here to the United States first. There's a lot going on here, a lot of politics, a lot we need to break down with this side-by-side comparison of the new Dodge Hornet versus the Alfa Romeo Tonale. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Ron's Rides. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Now, don't act like you didn't think this was coming. I was waiting on Dodge of Daytona to get another Hornet in because I think this is only their third or fourth one, so I could do this video. We finally have the Hornet next to the Tonale. This is pretty revolutionary, and you guys know how I felt about this whole thing with the Hornet and the Tonale, and you can see my past videos on that. But now we have them out here today, side by side for the first time, a GT Plus versus a TI spec. So I tried my best to match up the colors so you guys can see the styling and match up the specs as far as what we have, as far as, the options and everything goes. But it's pretty tough because, while these are built in the same plant, on the same platform, all that good stuff, there's still some big differences between the two models. So let's check these two out. Let's talk about the Hornet and Tonale. Let's just put them side by side, do a little comparison, and see what you guys think. If you're willing to pay $35,000 starting with this GT Plus or $44,000 starting for this TI. Now, under the hood, this is going to be hard because we only get the Tonale in the PHEV model, to where we actually have a gas model of the Hornet. Now, there is a PHEV coming soon, but they're not here yet. These only come in these models. So under the hood, you can see it's very similar, but it's very different. Let's start here with the Hornet. All right, 288 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque. This is a 2-liter inline-4 Hurricane 4 engine. All right, the new Hurricane engine from Dodge, and that is going to be with a 9-speed transmission for this model. But Tonale, you have a 1.3-liter inline-4 with 285 horsepower, 6-speed automatic transmission with 285 horsepower and 347 pound-feet of torque. So yeah, it's hard to compare the two. They're very close, but again, very different. Different speeds, different transmissions, different everything when it comes to the two on these aspects. But I will give it a couple of blips so you can hear how both of them sound and kind of make your decisions with performance from there. But we're not doing necessarily a test drive to let you know how that's going to be. So now that we have these side by side, let's do our comparisons, because really they're basically the same car, but they're not. It's really hard to wrap your head around, because yes, they are built in the same factory on the same platform, but they have their own characteristic styling. And if you know Alfa, you know the Alfa Romeo DNA, you know the design language here, to where Dodge is kind of entering this segment and really just kind of finding their own footsteps, but using a boost from Alfa Romeo to do so. Remember, this was introduced as a concept in 2019. We didn't get it here in the States until about May of this year, to where Europe, you guys had already had it since February of the previous year. So that's why it's labeled as a 2024 model here in the States, because Europe got it in 2022. We didn't get it until, 5 months into 2023. It's branded as a 2024 model versus the 2023 Hornet, which came out before this. All right, this started hitting dealers at the end of 2022. So again, the way that this kind of undercutted the Tonale, again, it didn't really sit right with me. And these dealerships are right next to each other here in Daytona. So it's one of those things to where I had a personal vendetta against the Hornet, and I've already reviewed one and put it on the channel. Actually, the same kind of spec as this almost, but the interior is different. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first off, let's take a look at the fronts and kind of compare and contrast between the Tonale TI and the Hornet. Now, Keep in mind that the TI version of the Tonale will have the more luxury spec, which gives it its aluminum front for the Scudetto grille and Interlobo and the front lip. Now this has a black package on it. I forget what it's called, but we will actually see that in the sticker breakdown. So you will see it all blacked out. Now you can get a blacked out version of the Tonale, but it's in the veloce to where the grille and the front lip and everything is all blacked out. So that's not gonna be a big comparison. Really what I wanna look at is the styling. Obviously you see the tri-LEDs here on the Tonale versus these kind of boomerang, upside down boomerang, Nike swoosh headlights on the Hornet. Now these actually, and I'll talk more about these, you can actually get these lights in Tonales in Europe to where these only come on our models. I'll talk about that more in a second. Now you also have the amber turn signals, or sorry, reflectors there. Obviously that is an American thing. You know, we have to have those regulated. It's there. The whole front and center look with this Tonale is really unrecognizable when it comes to the Hornet. I mean, it's a very Dodge-esque look. I mean, besides obviously the logo there, you can tell that it's a Dodge because it gives it kind of Dodge Charger kind of front fascia here. All right. I mean, the grille, I mean, they're pretty similar when it comes to the styling there. As you guys can see, the grills are pretty similar. You do also have the centerpiece that's almost similar there. Really, I guess the big part about it, you really kind of see the similarities as well as the side blades here, and kind of these guards on the side are the same here on the Tonale. Now the Tonale, that actually has a functional side scoop to where on the Hornet, it is fake, it is just there to fill in. So there is a little bit more premiumness to the, I guess, Tonale styling when it comes to, you know, practicality, functionality, and everything there. All right, so it actually makes sense to where there's a couple of fake things here on the Hornet to where it's just there for styling. But I mean, to be honest, the front fascia, if you put these two side by side, you really can't tell, you know, that they're the same car in a sense. Even the hood for the Alfa, more standard, you know, typical lines, flowy, Italian, there you are. Very muscle car with the nostrils, very aggressive with the Hornet here. All right, there's a reason why they did that, and it's to give it a meaner look. And I think it worked. What do you guys think? Now the side profiling for these cars, undeniable. You can definitely tell they're cut from the same cloth. So looking at it, obviously the wheels are subjective. You're gonna have Dodge style wheels, you're gonna have Alfa Romeo wheels. These are actually an upgraded wheel here. You will see obviously the Hornet badge, and that's done in black for the 8-ball, I believe, package or something like that. We'll get to the sticker to where you have the TI badge for the Tonale. But look at the wheel wells. Obviously you can see that they are painted here on a Tonale, and you can see the side skirt has a bit of aluminum kind of silverish look with a black down there as well. And you will see the Italian flag that sets it apart on the mirror cap. And then you will see the window moldings are actually done in a plastic for the Tonale TI. Then you come to the Hornet, you will see the wheel wells are not painted. They're done in that same plastic. Here on the wheel wells though, you can see it going all the way through the side skirt as well, plastic. All right, so not as premium as the Tonale there. The mirror cap, no Italian flag obviously, but the window moldings are done in a gloss versus the Tonale's plastic. All right, so there's a couple of things that it's substituted here to give it a little bit more flair, but you can definitely tell that the Tonale is a little bit more premium when it comes to the side profile. But besides that, they look pretty much the same when it comes putting them side by side. If you didn't know what you were looking at, you could say that they were the same car, but just different model or different options. Now check out the rear of the two. You can definitely tell the Tonale styling is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more curvy than the Dodge. Now the Dodge has a pretty simple looking rear, all right, to where you can definitely tell this is, I mean, Italian all the way. Let's look at the Dodge. The light bar obviously is the same as the Tonale. The light bar though gives a little bit of a different flair when it comes to the actual style of the red lighting here going across. you have the Dodge insignia right there, and then it just kind of flows like that. The Alfa is like a whoop. You know, it's got some more styling with the Alfa Romeo insignia protruding through, not so subtle, and then going along through with that tri look, the tri LEDs in the rear to match the front. And again, with the Dodge, you have Hornet on the side here. You have a GT on the side here. For the Tonale, you just have Tonale right there in the middle. Then for the rears, you can tell that back bumper is basically the same, just on the Tonale, it is painted and glossy with the covers because there's no exhaust here, all right? And then right there, the reflectors, the big piece down the center, will look exactly like the Hornet here, but obviously the piece here where the exhaust would be, you know, obviously the exhaust is underneath there, but I'm just saying the piece where the exhaust would be like here, it's not as indented. It's pretty plain, simple. The reflector's in the same spot. The bumper protrudes to the same spot and connects to the trunk lid in the same spot. The rear diffuser here is still in that plastic to where this is done in aluminum. So again, you can see that they're the same but different. And I think this is where, you know, things get confused. Like, you know, obviously they're the same car, but you can really distinctly tell the difference between the two when you put them side by side in a lot of flavors. But sometimes you got to know what you're looking for when it comes to these cars. Again, some people might get confused that these are the same car, they just have different options. You know, like if this was painted on the rear diffuser and back bumper, then it will look very similar to that Tonale, but you can still tell the Tonale apart with the different curves and everything like that. So again, you have the same kind of window lines in the rear window, the third brake light, shark fin antenna, third brake light, shark fin antenna. I mean, it looks exactly the same going back to back. So is it hard for you guys to tell? I'm having a hard time just kind of explaining how they're different, even though they're not too different. They put us in a tough situation, Stellantis. You really did, because if I had these two side by side and I was trying to sell one over the other, you know, I would really have to have a lot of options on this to say, hey, it's a lot different than this. But then what if you got one of these with a lot of options and one of these with not a lot of options, you know? So I'm still struggling with this one. Now, when it comes to the trunk or the cargo, I'm struggling to find a difference here. This looks exactly the same as this. I see no difference, but besides the leather color, as you guys can see. But both 60-40 split, center feed through, privacy shade done in that kind of carpeted felt privacy shade, 60-40 split, center feed through. They're gonna be the same amount of space because it's the same platform. Let's look underneath the Alfa. You will see, well, tire inflate kit. You will actually see a charger because this is a plug-in hybrid compared to the Dodge where it is not. All right, and yeah, I mean, your typical stuff, it's the same, it's simple. And then on the Hornet, okay, so this is set up a little bit different. You have a centerpiece here and you have your tire inflate kit and tools and stuff, but you don't have a big kind of setup and cover like with the Alfa. So I'm not exactly sure which one is better. I feel like you can fit more in the Hornet with that being kind of indented with the false floor. But again, it's basically the same thing. The controls are in the same spot, same exact controls, same sound. When I press it down, whoops, I didn't press it all the way, hold on. There we go. Same sound here. Same sound here. I mean, again, they share the same platform. Some things are gonna be the same. I think the trunk wasn't one thing to change. Now, this is not actually the fuel door. This is the plug-in door for the Tonale. So keep in mind, this is a PHEV. So yeah, that's kind of hard to compare to the gas Hornet. We'll kind of break it down in the sticker, but combined city and highway is 24 miles per gallon for the Hornet. Combined city and highway for the Tonale, where this is where the gas door is 29 miles per gallon. But then with the electricity, you're looking at around 77. So we'll break that down in the sticker because it's completely different because we only get these in PHEVs here in the States versus this being a gas model. Then we do get the PHEVs of this coming soon. So again, it's hard to compare the powertrains here with gas and everything because it's just, One's a hybrid, one's not. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure you give the video a big thumbs up. Once you give the video a like, it helps grow the channel and I get more opportunities to get more cars together like this Hornet and this Tonale. For the interior, I want to do something a little different. We know what the Tonale looks like, and I want to start here. That's beautiful, by the way. I want to start here with the Tonale because the Tonale, while it's great, some may think that the Hornet has a better interior. Now, you're going to see a lot of the same flair in the Hornet, and we know that, but we started off with these kind of design language features in the Tonale first. So keep in mind, I want to say in the Tonale first, basically in Alfa Romeo first. A lot of Alfa Romeo DNA in here, like the flat bottom steering wheel, the big column mounted power shifters, the turbine vents for the HVAC system, even the seating layout. This is basically the same Alfa that you're used to, just with different pattern with the perforated seats. Alfa Romeo insignia, same kind of headrest. We have obviously that big moonroof, not panel, not full panel. We don't go all the way back for both models. All right, differences are on a Tonale that you don't normally see are things like the DNA selector being right up here, the charging pad here, the gear selector here. All this is different and new for the Tonale. So this is not necessarily what we're used to for Alfa. We also have Uconnect 5 here. And actually, let me just get in and start it up. Aluminum pedals there. This dial and everything is the same that you're used to for Alfa, for the lighting, for the parking sensors, all that stuff. The door, we kind of know what the doors are as far as Alfa Romeo DNA. It's a little different, but you will see the Harman Kardon speaker and everything there that we're used to for Alfas. Okay, just take a look at this. Take a mental note of all of this while I get in here and start this up. Remember PHEV, so you're not going to hear any kind of engine start up because it starts automatically off of the battery. So Uconnect 5, again, we've had the system in these cars as far as FCA Stellantis products for, I think, what, 3 years now, 4 years? So we know Uconnect 5 is just new to Alfa Romeo itself. So that's going to be something that's going to be in Stellantis products regardless. But take a look at how the screen is set up. Take a look at the dash. Take a look at the dials. Everything here, you know, like the customization between the different layouts and all that. Take a look at all of this stuff because you're going to see a big similarity inside of the Hornet. Matter of fact, let's just get right to it. Now you can see what we're inside of. The Hornet has its own animation there. Now, you can tell there's a big similarity here. Let me look. It's the same kind of layout when it comes to the seating position, to the steering wheel, to the dash, the knobs. I mean, look, it's all the same on the Hornet. It's all the same, all right? So let's start it up. We're not actually using the start-stop button on the steering wheel. That's one thing that Dodge changed. This is where their sport mode button is, where the DNA selector is, which is, you know, strictly permitted and exclusive to Alfa Romeo models. Well, that's where your start-stop button is. And obviously you can tell we have an engine in this, so we're going to get a little bit of a grumble. Same chime noises and everything like that. I mean, again, all of this is the same between the two. Uconnect 5, the same. Now, what some people say about the interior of the Hornet is the options as far as seat choices. You can get red leather in the Hornet. You cannot get red leather in the Alfa. You also have contrasted stitching, which even carries a long way when it comes to the dash here, when it comes to the armrest here as well, and the door. All right, that makes a big difference going from completely black, all black up here, all black up here, to going to red or a color contrast of your choice, depending on what you choose for the Hornet. So you can see that it could be better in that sense, but other than that, you can tell that the Tonale, there's a theme here. It's a little bit more quality. It's a little bit more luxurious as far as its textures and feel. All right, now you can see a lot of the same things here, but look, we don't have perforated leather. We don't have aluminum paddle shifters. We don't have the nicer dash. We don't have the big aluminum plate with the ambient lighting going through the dash like we have on the Tonale. All right, so that's some things there. We do still have the panel roof, or not panel roof, but moon roof. to let in a lot of natural light. We still have a lot of the leather and leatherette materials on the door paneling and the aluminum dash and stuff like that. But there are a couple of things with the Tonale that seems a little bit more premium. Even look down here where we do not have aluminum pedals for the Dodge, but rubber pedals, you know, as opposed to the Tonale's aluminum pedals. So there's differences here. You can definitely tell it's almost the same vehicle with some things replaced. But I feel like maybe because the colors, it makes the Dodge a little bit more appealing with the colors, but when it comes to materials and overall setup, I think the Tonale might win this one. But now one more thing I wanted to do, a side-by-side for the rear seat of both interiors. Now, as you guys can see, it's gonna carry over the same way in the Hornet as it did up front with the red leather, perforated seats. You will see that we have a USB-C and USB 2.0 plug-in there. You also see some HVAC vents. You will see cup holders. You also get the same aluminum trim, all right, with the door handle, the red stitching throughout. It's pretty basic, right? Leather seat pouches. So again, it looks great back here and it matches what it does up front. Now let's take a look at the Tonale. Yep, same exact thing. Same seating setup, same perforated leather, same armrest, stitching. The center stack is the same with the USB 2.0, USB-C, HVAC, leather pouches, and then the same material right here on the door paneling. So let's take a look at the lighting assemblies together. All right, so again, for the Tonale, they come standard with the tri-LEDs. And over in Europe, you can actually get a Tonale with these headlights here that the Hornet has, but it's a lower trim level. I think the business and sprint trim levels, which we don't get the business trim level here in the States, but the sprint comes with this. All right, so for these headlight units, you can actually get them in Europe. This is all we get here in the States, and I'm not mad at it. But putting them side by side, you can see the two lights, and I think, you know, respectively, they definitely match their flavors, all right? I mean, this is more muscle, this is more kind of like, I wanna say aggressive in a sense, with the big kind of point and that, you know, upside down check mark, like that Nike swoosh, all right? And it makes sense for the styling of the Hornet being muscle. This is more elegant, this is more luxury, this is more techy. This fits the style and luxury of the Tonale versus the Hornet. So I think they work for their respective, I guess, vehicles. Now, keep that in mind, we also have the amber turn signals on each mirror cap here. That's the same. And then in the rear, we're getting the same taillight bar on both. So you guys can see that we have the taillight bar. Now, obviously, the tri-loops here are going to match with the tri-LEDs up front, to where, again, this is more flowy and more, I want to say, kind of aggressive when it comes to the taillight bar to match the front of the Hornet. So taking a look at the two, what do you guys think? Enough of a difference between them? I think so. So I had to retreat for a second, but perfect. Let's get the sticker breakdown side by side here for you guys, because yeah, we're gonna wait for that to clear up so we can finish out the video. But here we are. All right, so the Hornet's on the bottom, the Tonale is up top, and you guys can obviously read, but just to let you know right off the bat. All right, so starting price for the Tonale TI for 2024 is $44,995. Keep in mind, this comes with a little bit more standard, and it's a plug-in hybrid, all right? This is an EV, an essential, you know, charging kind of vehicle that, you know, the more technology and everything is into it. So more R&D, bigger price, etc. The Hornet starts at $35,000, all right? $35,735 to be exact, all right? So obviously, it's a little bit less, right? All right, we're looking at $9,000 less, but keep in mind, if you do lease Tonales, well, you can get a tax incentive here in the United States as well. So it might be worth it for you because you could get it essentially close to the same price as this Hornet. But this is standard without any options. With the options we have on this Tonale, we're looking at $56,140 after the $1,595 destination. Now, you also have a $1,595 destination on this Hornet, but with the options we have on this, which are only two of them, Well, you're at $39,820. So obviously a big difference between $39,000 and $56,000. But again, look at the options list compared to the options list here, okay? So I couldn't deal with that, you know, obviously. It's just one of those things, had to happen. I got this Tonale. I wanted to put it next to the Hornet. I couldn't necessarily match up the options. But with that said, fuel economy, 24 combined city and highway, as I said, 21 city, 29 highway. For the Tonale, you can see that you're at 29 combined city and highway, which you're 24 here. But then look at with your EV, your electric range, but then you're 77 with electricity and gasoline. So keep in mind that you're about 30 miles for the electric range, 30, 35 miles for electric range. So with that said, you're saving a lot more money here having that plug-in hybrid versus here, you know. So I mean, it's again apples to oranges in a sense. All right, so I just really want to show you that pricing breakdown, kind of because the options don't really matter. It's the base price of what you're paying for both cars that I'm comparing. Now keep in mind, for the Hornet, you have a 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain limited warranty and a 3-year 36 mile basic limited warranty. All right, for the Tonale, it's a little bit different. Basic warranty is 4 years, 50,000 miles. Your powertrain is 4 years, 50,000 miles. But you have an 8-year, 100,000 mile hybrid system limited warranty and an 8-year or 100,000 mile high voltage battery warranty. All right, so keep in mind, because that's a little bit different, again, having a plug-in hybrid versus having a gasoline vehicle. So hopefully that does enough for you guys to kind of let you know the differences between the two. And wow, it looks like I'm going to be in here for a while, guys. After breaking it all down, I know that this channel is Alfa Romeo biased, but what do you guys think about the Hornet? Was it a good effort? Did they change it enough to make it distinct from the Alfa Romeo that they borrowed from? You know, everyone wins here at Stellantis because these are both Stellantis products. So at the end of the day, if both of these are getting sold depending on their markets, well then a win is a win, right? But this is a different crowd on the muscle side versus the Italian luxury side. So I want to know what you guys think. Are you mad that the Hornet exists? Are you upset that it came out before the Tonale? Are you upset that, you know, it took so much from the Tonale and then it has other options that you can't get on a Tonale? You know, there's a lot going on here, but again, if you're shopping in Alfa, you probably aren't shopping the Dodge. If anything, it's the other way around. You might shop the Dodge and move up to the Tonale. So again, a win is a win, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. All right, now with that said, if you guys did want to help further support the channel, check the links down in the description below. I have a one-time link donation for my PayPal, my Cash App, my Venmo, and my Patreon. Just in case you guys want to donate an extra $1 or $2 to the channel, I appreciate the extra love you guys show. It goes a long way. Thank you so much. You guys can also check out the Rounds Rise merch and social media links down in the description below. Now make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, but click the notification bell so you don't miss one video. And with that said, you guys be blessed, have a great day, and we will talk to you guys in the next Rounds Rise video. Peace.